You can save money, you can plan for the future, you can have free time, you can be financially secure. You can even build keyboards if you want for some reason. You can do that too. Now, you may suffer misfortunes or setbacks that may make those things more difficult, but that can happen and will happen in one form or another, whether you have kids or not.
Hey, this is Sage, and this topic is really related to religion and tradition. Some say it's a new trend or of some kind of craze or whatever. I will give my personal thoughts on this, and this particular thing is DINKS. They call it DINKS. Double income, or rather, dual income, no kids. And there's been a lot of voices about this from the traditional side, and for instance, these.
But what they're saying is ridiculous. I mean, there are families with significantly less financial means who are managing to raise multiple children and can still live perfectly comfortably and care for their children and themselves without the risk of starvation. As a general rule, if you have decided that something is financially impossible for you, but then you look around and you see that literally billions of people throughout the history of the world have done this impossible thing with less financial means than you have at your disposal, that's a good indication that the problem isn't really your finances.
Human beings are made to give, are made to sacrifice, are made to do really difficult and courageous things that take effort, things that take us out of our comfort zone. Now, in some cases, it may take more effort, it may take more planning, it may take more sacrifice, but it can be done. You can save money, you can plan for the future, you can have free time, you can be financially secure. You can even build keyboards if you want for some reason. You can do that too. Now, you may suffer misfortunes or setbacks that may make those things more difficult, but that can happen and will happen in one form or another, whether you have kids or not. Our lives are not meant to be centered on consumption, centered on what we want, centered on satiating our hunger and our thirst, literally and metaphorically, and doing all the things that we want to do with as little sacrifice as possible. Yes, that feels good, but it's not ultimately what fulfills you. One of the things that I guarantee you will sanctify you in this way, will pull you out of yourself, will force you to put the needs and the well-being of someone else before your own, is not just marriage. That does do that to a certain extent, but children.
Today, it seems that many are taking it as a group of people who are selfish and ought to come back to adopt the tradition of making sacrifices and have kids. People think it's taking the easy way out of a human obligation or obligation to our ancestors and our bloodline. Here's my take. Many traditional people think that those who don't have children are selfish, and those who are not participating are not going to be fulfilled in life by living this way. I argue that everything in life, including marriage, friendships, having children, or not having children, are not going to totally fulfill your life, nor give you maximum or continuous happiness. Life does not have to require a total or certain level of sacrifice all the time. Some things are fulfilling for a season. Some things give you purpose for a period of time, and then you're on to something else that gives you purpose. Some things you choose to do requires more or less sacrifice for a duration of time, and either one is okay. If you enjoy this content, well, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for all of the new videos in the future. And let's continue. I would like to say this. Having children does not make you more virtuous or morally superior than those who don't have children. To have kids or not to have kids is a personal choice. It all depends on your personal goals. If you want a family, you have to be willing to adjust your life in such a way to prepare for that particular goal. If you don't want to have children, you have to set your life path in such a way to avoid having children. You have to take the necessary steps or shape your life that fulfills that kind of lifestyle. People have to make their own evaluation about the direction of their life. Some people have the self-awareness and self-assessment about what their capacities or limitations mentally and physically to handle certain positions in life. If I know I don't have the mental capacity to handle kids, I just make the choice not to have them. If my goal is to be alone and maintain my peace and quiet at home, I'm not going to buy 6 parrots, a dog, a cat, invite 3 roommates. It would impede on that mission. Maybe you are not willing to put in the work required to raise kids, and that's okay. I would say that they are mature enough to recognize within themselves, and that takes a lot of courage to admit, especially with all the pressure around, for instance, religious surroundings or traditional circles some find themselves in. Often religion pressures people to do things they are not ready or equipped or never desired to invite in their lives, causing a lot of unhealthy relationships and marriages, more broken homes that never should have happened. We are in charge of what level of complexity we invite into our lives and what level of complication we are willing to handle for whatever goal we desire. If you want to be married or be in a relationship, in order to gain the benefits of that, you have to be willing to sacrifice a couple of things to achieve and maintain that life choice. It has its own set of rewards and also its set of challenges. If you choose to remain single, you have a set of challenges and sacrifices that are required for that kind of lifestyle. Both have to consider the financial preparation or cost of raising kids or living without kids. Both require planning wisely for the future. Both groups of people can contribute a plethora of things to society. Not having children doesn't mean you can't pour into the next generation or do good for others. We, I believe, should not be shaming people for not having children or deciding to have children, especially if those choices are not having a negative impact on others. You do what is best suited for you in your season, your journey in life. There is no such thing as a 100% pristine, pure selflessness in any decision we make. For those who say it's selfish not to have children,